What if the reason most people burn out isn't because they're doing too much, but because they're building everything on the wrong foundation? What if real performance, real leadership, and real clarity actually start with how we take care of ourselves? I'm joined by Rosemary Bonner, someone who doesn't just talk about wellness, mindset, and discipline, she lives it. Rosemary is a leader who understands that health isn't a side habit, it's the foundation. That consistency isn't about motivation, it's about identity. And that the way you lead others starts with how grounded you are within yourself. This isn't just a conversation about hacks or shortcuts. It's about the real work, the discipline, the recalibration, and the standards that shape who you become. Before we get into what you do today, I want to go back to the moment where wellness stopped being optional for you. Where did this all begin for you?
I'm so glad that you asked that question. This is such a fun question for me to answer because I was always, even as a kid, my dad bought me a set of weights when I was very young. And I was like, as a girl, I was like, no, I don't want to look like a boy. And it wasn't really accepted, back then.
Yeah.
I'm a lot older than you are. So back then it was like, girls don't lift weights. Girls don't do that. They don't do the gym thing. So I kept them in my room. I always hid them. I don't think I've ever talked about this out loud. I actually hid them under my bed and I would lift them at night. And my dad would be like, are you lifting those weights? I'd be like, no, Dad, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But I started to see my body change at a very young, I'm talking like 14 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
So fast forward when it really became where it was not optional was I was bartending through college. Right. And I was not in shape. Maybe I would go to the gym from time to time, but it was a joke to me. And I didn't really know what I was doing. But one of the other bartenders started to compete. And I was like, she can do it. Why can't I do it? And this was the seed that was planted
Mm.
for so many other milestones. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll figure it out. So I went and got a coach. Awful, terrible coach. And I went on stage totally unprepared. And there was a coach there who at this competition saw something in me and said, I want to work with you. Let's do this. From then on, I went to the NPC and I
Mm.
competed and I was ready to go pro. And that's when I stopped. But what it taught me was it's not about the vanity of it. It's not about the look. It's about saying, I'm setting a goal. I'm going to work hard to achieve it. I'm going to find someone who's been where I want to go, learn from them, and make it happen. And that's when I really became addicted to understanding just how deep rooted fitness is and how important discipline is.
That's unbelievable. And the fact that you learned that early on through just like just being surrounded by it and your dad bringing those weights and
Yes.
giving you those weights in your room, that's pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
And the fact that like you were just hiding it.
I was hiding it. I was ashamed. And
Wow.
I'm not proud to say that I was ashamed, but looking back, I'm like, I was really embarrassed.
Yeah. And that was when you were 14 years
Yeah.
old.
Yep.
Wow.
Going through a lot of
Wow.
changes as a
Oh yeah.
girl, a lot of pressure, a lot of peer pressure, a lot of opinions from others. And not that that ever changes because it never does.
Yeah. You just get a little bit more callous to it and you learn to deal with it a little bit better and learn to not care,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
Because ultimately like that's truly what makes you who you are today is
Hmm.
being able to mold yourself into a person who's confident enough to not care about those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. And I'll never forget this. This was a really big breaking point for me when I was competing on stage. So many people did not did not approve.
Mm.
My mother, my family, friends. Why are you doing this? Do you get paid for it? You're doing this. You hardly eat anything. You're in the gym all the time. But I was so laser focused on the goal. And I said, I don't care what anybody thinks here. This is my goal. And I know that I need to go from here to here. And these are the steps I need to take. But all these people are chattering in my ears, but I'm going to get there no matter what it takes.
Mm.
And it was a turning point for me.
How did that physical discipline, right, becoming that, being disciplined in the gym, being disciplined with what you're intaking into your body, how did that lead to then your mental discipline in whether it be business, whether it be your personal life? How did that start that trend for you to build that foundation?
That was the baseline. That was truly the baseline. Even now, when I'm faced with adversity where I don't feel like doing something, I go back to that and I think,
Mm,
remember the resilience. Remember getting up at 5 o'clock when everyone else was sleeping, getting that first hour of cardio in. It just taught me build, habit stack, and doesn't matter. Just block out the noise, stay laser focused, put your blinders on, and go forward with
mm.
everything.
I love that. And there is always a turning point, right? And it seems like that was like truly when that new coach kind of stepped into your life and saw you had that potential. For you, it seems like that was like super eye-opening, right?
Yes.
Because you got to that point and you obviously knew that the initial coach you had wasn't going to take you to where you wanted to go.
Hmm.
So that next coach stepping into your life and seeing the potential that you had, how did that shape who you became?
It gave me confidence that I was unsure of, because when I first went on that stage, I was a hot mess. I mean, I still to this day have nightmares about going on stage not being in shape, like going on stage not being prepared. So it was definitely left a footprint, um, but it definitely gave me the confidence to say, you know what, somebody saw something in me, and it also kind of plays into my life now where I do that for others, where I
Mm,
can see that in others. And I'm so, I mean, we just started an organic conversation. That's how you and I met. But I'm always looking to see, how can I help this person? How can I help that person? But it's organic. And I feel like the whole reason that we're here on this earth is to help each other
mhm,
and to help each other grow and be better and enjoy this life that we have.
mm. It's so true. I mean, what was the when did you realize that you were unprepared? Was it the moment you stepped into the competition, or was it kind of leading up? You're like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm really like 100% ready to go out there and compete." When did you
I'm gonna
realize
tell
that?
you, I know exactly when it was, because I thought I was it. Like, I was like, I'm gonna go rock this show, until I got backstage with the other girls and I looked around and I went, oh no, oh no, I am not ready.
Yeah.
And then I saw the pictures and I looked good. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't anywhere near the condition where I needed to be in to compete at that level.
Wow. So that moment where you were like, "Oh boy," you know,
Yeah,
and it's perspective, right? Because you had nothing really to compare it
exactly.
to
Exactly.
prior to you getting there. You're like, "All right, this is great. I'm looking good. I had the coach by my side telling me what to do. I'm on track." And then you get there and you're like, "Wow, there's levels to this."
Yes. And to piggyback on that, let's just talk about comparison. So comparison is the thief of joy, right?
Mm,
However, unless you use it in a healthy way as fuel, such as that. So that's a
mm.
perfect example to
Yep.
say you're not comparing yourself to others to look down your nose at someone or to in a malice way. But if you're comparing yourself to someone else to say, I need to reach a higher level, I'm using this as motivation and to learn from, now we're talking.
Well, it lets you understand what's possible
Yes,
without seeing others that have been where you want to go.
right.
How do you know what's possible?
Exactly.
And it all goes back to this,
Yep.
right? Without that mindset and truly understanding that this level is possible or this wealth goal is possible, whatever that might be, how do you know what is truly possible?
Right. Who sets that bar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a great analogy is the mile, right? You know, 100 years ago, 50 years ago, you never saw someone that's able to run anywhere near a 4-minute mile or a 5-minute mile.
Yes.
And then you see these guys that are breaking these barriers and breaking these records by like a minute plus,
Hmm.
and it continues to get, the bar just continues to get raised
Yes.
because you understand what is truly possible, what the body can do, and
Hmm.
ultimately what the mind can do over the body.
Ding, ding, ding. That's it.
you know?
That's it.
And that's why your I love your style and I love your mindset because without a strong body, right, and a strong foundation, how are you truly going to be that high performer that's able to take your students and your clients and those people that you're looking to just organically help to that next level,
Exactly. Yes.
right?
Yes. Hmm.
It's also similar to that analogy where you're on the airplane and you need to put on your mask, right? It's put your mask on first, then
Yes.
help others,
Hmm.
because if you don't have your mask on, how are you going to be able to help every other person on that plane
Hmm.
or your loved ones on that plane,
Right. Yep.
right? And I want to take this to the next level, right? Because I believe, we talked about a little bit of discipline and the consistency of that. What does consistency really look like behind the scenes? Because social media and Instagram and all of these things show you the finished product, right? They show you what's, all the glamour and this and that. But let's talk about behind the scenes.
So to your point, it's all the highlight reel. And I feel like that's a problem that we have in society today.
Mm.
Whereas, yes, obviously social media is a great tool for us to use for business and to market ourselves. However, I feel like the younger minds looking in could potentially be discouraged by that. So breaking that down, what we're doing behind closed doors is where the hard work, where the grind comes in. When nobody's watching, that's when
Yeah.
progress is made because there is no overnight success. You know that. It's what you do behind closed doors when you're up at midnight, when you're up at 3:30 in the morning working, searching for properties, looking for listings, trying to figure out how are you going to get the next client. It's all about what you're doing when no one's around. It's a definition of integrity.
Yep. Yep. And that is such a big part of becoming that better version of yourself,
Hmm.
is that work behind the closed doors. This morning, listen, I don't have a better accountability partner than my daughter. Since I started doing cold plunges,
Uh-huh.
she is my biggest fan, and she's like, Daddy, like, do you need help doing your cold plunge this
Oh, I
morning?
love it.
Because I haven't done it yet. So
Uh-huh.
she's like, and I'm like, shit. I was like, she's literally like
Yeah.
holding me accountable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, you're right, honey. I would love help.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, like 2 minutes later, I got my robe. She got me my swim trunks, and I'm in the cold plunge.
Yeah.
And those are the moments that truly have started to change who I am
Hmm.
and how I understand accountability. Because I've always thought of accountability as like, you got an accountability partner, you go to the gym with them, like it's someone at that same caliber, or
Hmm.
you're pushing each other. But this morning was a big one for me, is like she legit was like, in a different way, she's like, Daddy, you gonna get in the cold punch today or
Yes.
what?
Not even realizing the impact it could have on you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I want to continue to teach my kids through action,
Hmm.
right? And showing them what's possible and showing by doing. Because there's only so much that you can do by telling your children,
100%. 100%.
right? And yelling and trying to instill things in them.
Hmm.
When you're able to do something and do those things consistently over time, they're like, whoa,
Yes.
like mommy and
Yes.
daddy are really
And you're
superheroes.
teaching without speaking.
Without a doubt.
It's a true definition of leading by example. And that's our job when we become parents. Yeah, that's no longer just an accountability partner to say, "Hey, did you do legs today?"
Yeah.
It's so much deeper than that. And when you look at those big eyes and
Oh
they're
man.
depending on you and it's your responsibility to mold them and to mold their character. And I don't know how you grew up, but I had wonderful parents and they did the very best that they could, but they didn't have this mindset. They didn't
Mm,
have the mindset to say every single day, consistency, this is what you have to do. And they didn't show it as
mm.
far as physical fitness and discipline behind the scenes. It was more like go to work and come home, have dinner, and then we do it again the next day.
Yep.
So as opposed to teaching our kids, like there's so much more. We need to
Mm.
help people. You ask my son what I do for a living, and he says, my mom helps people become the best version of themselves. And I'm like, oh my God,
I love
it's
that.
great. And it's not coached. He just
No, that's
he rolls it off of his tongue like it's so natural and it's such a beautiful thing. And yeah, he's it's just our role as parents is just so powerful.
mm,
And I think that it's really important that anyone watching this understands if you're a parent and you have children, You are their legacy. You're creating a legacy for them for how they're going to deal with peer pressures in school when they get there. They're going to think back. My parents, my mom, my dad, that's my safety net, and this is the example that he or she set. This is what I'm going to bring into the world.
I love that. And there's so much of there's so much amazing things that can come from that, right? Just leading by example.
Mhm.
And the one thing that really comes to mind is that that truly has changed the way that I lead in business and in my personal life.
Yes.
Just the way that I've really truly understood that I'm leading someone who has 0 baseline,
Yeah.
right? There's nothing to they have nothing to compare,
Mhm.
right? There's no perspective,
Yep.
right? You are their perspective and you're the only thing that they know.
Mhm.
So that really truly hit home
Mhm.
because there's no like relearning. Like you're literally like wiring their brain from day
Yep.
one through the actions and the things that you say, the things that you do on a daily basis.
And how lucky are we to take that role? To be able to have this mindset and give it as a gift to them by showing them, not just by telling them.
Yeah.
Not saying go read a book, go ask this, go look it up. It's really by just teaching them that this is the example that I had when I was a child, so I'm going to follow it in these footsteps.
Yeah. And it's such a blessing. And I don't take that lightly, nor do I take that for granted. Every single day I wake up, it's how can I become the best version of myself, father, husband, son, brother, whatever that might look like,
Mhm.
and how can I level up today? Just
Yes.
a notch, right? And it's the compound effect. We were just talking about it off camera.
Mhm.
One of my favorite books by Darren Hardy, The Compound Effect, because it's just so it's such a actionable book and a process that those little things every single day is truly what's going to get you to where you want to go
Yes.
and mold you into the person that you want to be. And that's it. Like it's just getting up every single day and being able to be 1% better,
That's it. You said it.
maybe 0.001% better,
Yep.
but it's moving in that right direction. And of course, there's setbacks and life happens and things happen. But if you can learn to get beyond that and make the decisions on a daily basis through discernment and through that diligence and through that determination every single day, you're going to come out on the other side that much better of a person.
Yes. And I also believe that in addition to that, we're always trying to be 1% better every single day. Who you were last week, you should be better than that person
Yeah.
today, or at least striving to be.
Hmm.
But we can also, if there are setbacks, we can recreate any moment.
Mm.
So I tell on a smaller scale, I tell my clients, listen, if you messed up for breakfast, it's okay. It's lunchtime now. Now we recreate. That was you then this morning. Now let's talk about you, Susan, this afternoon.
Yeah.
Like who are you now and how are we going to change? So I feel that people often get caught up in their setbacks and they
Mm.
live in them. Like leave them there. Let's move
Yeah.
forward.
What's the one piece of advice you can give to someone who maybe has that habit of taking a step back and letting that take them 3 steps back
Mhm.
as opposed to 1 step and then let's get 2 steps forward?
Well, it's what's the alternative? You stay the same or you change. And everything, in order to make progress, you have to make decisions. So
Mm,
just make the decision and maybe change your environment.
mm.
That's a big one. That's a really big one for me.
Ooh, that's a
When,
real big one.
yeah. And I didn't realize how impactful my environment was until I realized how impactful my environment
Yeah,
was.
sure.
You surround yourself with people who are constantly complaining or talking about the negative or talking about the past, you're going to stay there.
Yep.
But if you surround yourself with high achievers and high level individuals who are talking about the future ideas, innovation, you're going to mold your brain and your mindset to be thinking more like them. You don't want to ever be the smartest person in the room or else you're in the wrong room, right?
Absolutely.
So you always want to be learning and growing. So surround yourself, and your circle is not just your friends, it's your coworkers, it's your conversations, it's your social media. What's on your feed? What are you looking at? I
Yep.
think that your surroundings play a major role.
Yep. I 100% agree with that. And I think that's the big thing for me anyway is stepping into a masterminds, right? Things where you have 7, 8, 9, 10 figure earners, people who have built those habits that you want to build or you're in the process of building.
Yes.
And those are the rooms that I want to be in.
Yep.
What's one group or mastermind or something that you have dove into that's currently changing your mindset?
Tony Robbins is the OG,
Ooh,
if you ask me.
yep.
Tony
That he
Robbins, Dean
is.
Graziosi.
Yep.
I was just on a Zoom call with, not personally, but watching Dean, and it's just they've done it. So
Mm,
we have to continuously feed our brains with what they have to say because they've got it figured out. Like
yep.
they have cracked the code, so we need to learn from them. So Tony Robbins, Dean is great. We're just talking about Daniel G. I think
Yep.
Daniel G is awesome.
Great energy.
So it's just a matter of who do you want to learn from and become obsessed with it. Become obsessed and hijack their mindset, hijack their brains, their thoughts, their thinking, their
Yep.
habits. What are they doing? Because if they can do it, you can do it. They started out as a baby, so did you.
Yep.
So again, let's recreate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not you're going to go through imposter syndrome when you're changing.
Sure.
And it's not fake it till you make it. It's how do I become more like that person? What is that person doing that I need to be doing? Okay. Well, how am I going to do that? Take action right now. Do one thing today and you'll see you're going to build momentum. Do it again tomorrow. And then you've done it twice as
Mm,
opposed to you never did anything at all.
yep. And then you start to prove to yourself that you can do it.
Sure.
And it goes back to the compound effect,
Mhm.
right? You're continuously compounding and building that habit, which then in turn gets rid of the old habits,
Right.
right? And it moves you closer towards the person that you want to be.
Yes.
But if
Yes.
you have nothing to model that from, right? And you don't know where you want to go, that's the first step,
That's
right?
it.
Is to
That's it.
understand that you want to be more like Tony Robbins. But why?
Mhm.
Right? So
Right.
understanding the why behind it and then reverse engineering that, and there's daily action items that can get you to that
Mhm.
person,
Mhm.
but again it's that consistency over time
Yes.
which then builds. And Gary Keller says it really, really well. People overestimate what can be done in 1 year and underestimate what can be done in 5.
Yes. Yes.
Because 5 years seems like such a long time away,
Uh-huh.
but at the same time, right? Like if you can reverse engineer from 5 years as opposed to just 1 year, so much can happen over 5 years.
Yes.
And if you can understand where you truly want to be
Mhm.
with big goals, big hairy audacious goals, if you
Yeah.
will, right?
Yes.
Like if you can understand that and you
Mhm.
can put and you can break down that vision, things become that much easier. It doesn't seem as overwhelming
Mhm.
when you break it down into those digestible, action items. And
Yes.
I think it's pretty similar with fitness and with your diet
Mhm.
because everyone looks to with today, it's like instant gratification. I want to lose 5 pounds today,
Yes.
right? It's like, but like, why not? Let's lose an ounce today,
Yeah.
right?
And
And
let's keep it off.
yeah,
Let's make it a lifestyle,
yeah,
you know, as opposed to you're going to lose the 10 pounds. And then, let's not talk about certain things that people are taking right now that are giving them a certain look on their face.
mm-hmm,
And you don't look healthy and you're not
yep,
healthy, quite honestly. And, it's a shot, it's a pill. It's not a quick fix. And this has been going on for centuries. People want a quick fix. It's instant gratification. But instead, let's think like the people that have achieved those goals and think about long term, slow and steady, but consistent. Take
yep,
action. We
yep,
can collapse time.
yep. I love that, and it's ultimately the mindset
Yes.
because if once you start to see the results and you have a game plan in place and you know exactly, hey, I have everything mapped out of my calendar and I know I'm going to be at the gym at this time. I'm going to be eating this at this time and I'm really truly like time blocking
Yes.
my life
Mhm.
around what I need to do to get to where I want to go,
Mhm.
then it's it's a pretty simple process
Yes.
and science behind it, right? Like
Yes.
all you truly need is maybe a coach to hold you accountable
Mhm.
and someone that's done what you want to do.
Exactly. It's almost like you go to a mechanic. Something's wrong with my car. You take it to the mechanic and they say, "Okay, you need to do this, this, and this
Hmm.
for your car to run properly." Okay,
Yep.
thank you. And you pay the mechanic and then your car runs properly. It's
Yep.
the same thing with your body.
Yeah, you got to diagnose
Yeah.
what it is first,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
when you get a blood test, the whole idea around a blood test is let's see what your levels look like. Let's
Yep.
see why you're feeling a certain way. And
Mhm.
that's exactly like it's the exact same thing
Yep.
is being able to diagnose and then what's next?
Yes. Yes. And we were talking about for someone who is not used to understanding any of this and who's not used to changing their mindset. I was at rock bottom at one point in my life, and it was a very scary place to be. And I didn't know what to do. This is before I ever even heard of Tony Robbins.
Mm.
And I just knew that I was built for more. And I knew that there was something in me. I've always had some sort of a fire, but I was like, I'm digging deep and I have to reach this fire because now it's me versus me. And I just Googled motivational speakers or motivation, and boom, Tony Robbins came up. And I became obsessed with him. And from that moment on, I just started to get up a little earlier every day and I would watch his videos and I would just listen and I would absorb and I would consume and I would just, everything that he was saying, I would allow it to just kind of like become my way of thinking. And it changed my life. It
Mm.
truly changed my life.
It's amazing. I mean, he has helped tens
Millions.
of
Yeah.
thousands,
Hmm.
millions of people.
Hmm.
And if you look back into his story and his upbringing and
Yes.
how he came up poor, right?
Hmm.
And his environment, that is what shaped him, was
Yes.
his environment. And he wasn't comfortable early on in his life.
Mhm. No, not at all.
And that's truly, I believe, what shaped him. And he talks about it all the time
Yes.
is his, on
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving,
yeah.
right? And that story is amazing.
Yep.
Is on Thanksgiving, a big man came and knocked on their door, and his father basically shooed him away because he came in with wanting to help
Mhm.
bring them food, right, and bring them, have them have a Thanksgiving,
Yep.
right, as if they deserved it.
Mhm.
And his father slammed the door in his face, and that was the moment that changed his mindset because he said there are people out there that are willing to help.
Yeah.
And he said, I thought of it as like this is like God's gift.
Yep.
Whereas his father had a completely different mindset, was
Mhm.
like, we're not a charity case.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when you're able to shift your mindset there, everything changes.
Yes.
Everything changes.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's such an amazing thing of what the mind can do
So powerful.
if you train it and if you surround yourself in those right environments,
Mhm.
whether that be the people or also the physical environment,
Yes.
right? If you
Yeah.
want to get up and be productive every day,
Mhm.
and maybe you're sitting behind the same desk that's not really like giving you those juices and motivating you every day, change the physical environment.
Yep.
Go, a lot of people work from home today. So instead of maybe working in your basement where it's dark, dingy, and you're kind of in the same space every day, go to your local coffee shop,
Yes.
change
I
up the
agree.
scenery. Maybe there's some other people that are working in there too that you could vibe with and that you can
Mhm.
get, you can have great conversations with.
Yep.
And I believe that, especially in today's day and age, like social aspect, right? And being able to be surrounded with the right people and also just being able to be surrounded with people throughout
Yeah.
the day
Just people,
is
humans.
like is a cheat code.
Yeah.
And this would have never been a conversation 10 years ago, but it is today.
Yep.
Because what 5% of people maybe worked from home, only 5 years ago,
Yep.
and now it's like 50% of people.
Yeah. Easy.
And it's just it's now we gotta think a little bit differently
Mhm.
because, yeah, is it convenient? Absolutely. Is it maybe give you some more time with your family and your loved ones? Sure. But is that time with your family and loved ones, is it now intentional? And are you giving 100% of yourself in that moment, right? Or is it you kind of going through your day and being drained from being at work and working maybe in the basement and not really having that energy to be around people, and then you go upstairs and you still feel like you're in that same environment and you're not showing up for those who love
Yes.
you
Mhm.
and who need you the most?
Mhm. Mhm. Um, be where your feet are is what I can say to piggyback on that.
Presence.
It's presence, but it's also like I think so for that example, okay, you're working from the basement and you go upstairs. You can still hear the pitter patter upstairs. You know they're there.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like when you separate yourself and then come back to it, you appreciate it that much more. And it gives you the opportunity to say, work is outside that front door. And now I'm here with my children.
Yep.
They need me, they want me, and I'm going to give them 100% of me. You've got to pour in. I am not one to support work-life balance, okay? What I do support is be where your feet are. Pour 1000% into every compartment of your life. That's work. That's your physical fitness. That's your family, your children, your husband, your wife, your friendships.
Yep.
The good ones, the ones that are really aligned with where you're going. Um, People are often distracted, and in a world of this right now, there are so many distractions. We're being molded to be distracted. So if we can step outside of that and really embrace the human connection the way it used to be almost,
Mm.
and less screen time and more conversations and connections, like you said, I think that we're on the verge of something.
Yeah, onto something for sure. And there's obviously a lot of different ways to gain more awareness and clarity and alignment. What's the biggest thing for you that you do on a daily basis, whether that be in the first thing in the morning,
Mm,
evening, midday? What is that thing that helps you slow down to make sure you are showing up as present as possible, being where your feet are,
mm.
right? Like, what does that look like for you? And is there one thing that, or is there a few things that helps you to kind of build that muscle over time?
Absolutely, absolutely. So over time, I've learned so many different hacks, and you have to kind of do trial and error and see what works for you. But one of my things that I teach my clients is it's your morning. Your
Mm,
morning completely sets your brain and your
yep,
mindset for the day.
totally agree with that.
My system is, I call it 10-10-10. So it's 10 minutes and it's 10 segments or 3 segments of 10 minutes. Okay. And in the first 10 minutes, you're going to move. In the
Mm,
second 10 minutes, you're going to do your G and A's, and that's gratitudes and affirmations.
okay.
And I have them do 3 of 3. So 3 gratitudes. And that's not, I'm grateful for the day, I'm grateful for my family, but that's like your tagline. You're grateful for something very specific that happened that day. For example, today I'm grateful to be sitting here having this conversation and hopefully getting into the minds of people who needed to hear something that we're saying today.
Mm,
The affirmations are I am statements.
mhm,
So I am a leader or where you want to be. I am in Cancun on a vacation, whatever that looks like to
sure.
that particular person. And then, so it's movement, and then you're doing that, and then the last is reading. So any type of self development. This is
That's
taught
also for 10 minutes.
10.
Okay.
So for beginner clients, we do 5-5-5. So we do
Okay.
5 minutes because a lot of times people are like, I can't get up half an
Yeah,
hour
30
early.
minutes.
30 minutes, what I got? And I'm like, okay, let's break it down a little bit. Let's make it 15
Yeah.
minutes. So, and just implementing those 3 things, it really does shift the mindset and it preps you for the day. I personally do that. I get up a lot earlier. I take a lot more time with all of that
Mhm.
because I want to make sure that I am present with my kids. I want to make sure that, okay, I'm not rolling out of bed. I'm not looking at my phone right away. And I'm not saying, oh my God, I got to get the kids lunch and I got to get them ready. And I'm not annoyed by them. I want to make sure that I'm dressed, I'm ready to go. I've already had some movement in my body. I've had my coffee, I've had my water, and I've done all these things and I've intentionally read, I've fed my brain with the goodness.
Mhm.
And then when they wake up, I can say, good morning,
Yeah.
as opposed to what are you doing up so early?
Yeah.
And it's human nature. Obviously, there are going to be days where as parents we're not going to have all the patience that we wish that we would have. But if you can intentionally exercise that and say, I want to be better than I was yesterday. How can I do that? How can I be there for them? Because we are molding them.
Yeah.
We're molding them and the way we respond to any type of stress, whether it's traffic, finances, work, whatever it might be, they're learning from that.
Mm.
And that is how they're going to respond to stress as they grow older, whether it's a test or it's a conflict with a peer as they go into high school, whatever that looks like.
Mm. And they're sponges.
Yes.
Every action, every word, no matter what it is,
Hmm.
they're taking that in. And I love that you're taking that time in the morning to be able to get yourself ready. And I'm sure things happen the night, maybe the night before, you get to bed a little bit late, and
Hmm.
you have to shift and adjust.
Hmm.
But I'm sure there's some non-negotiables for you.
100%. Yes.
And let's say you have a really late night the night before, or you're up late doing work or whatever, or you're at an event, and the next morning looks a little bit different. What are your non-negotiables that next morning, regardless of the time that you wake up? What are those non-negotiables before you get into life, kids,
Hmm.
business?
Hmm.
What are those non-negotiables for you?
Um, I I am not perfect by any means, but one thing I won't allow is myself to sleep in.
Mm,
That's I just feel that while I'm still building until I get to climb a certain mountain, no matter what, I get up when that alarm goes off. And as long as I can take at least get my 5 5 5 or my 10 10 10 in. I read my Bible, I read self-development, I write my gratitudes and affirmations, and I also visualize. So as long as I can do that, that comes all the other stuff is secondary. I'd rather not have coffee because that's like caffeine. That's like natural caffeine. Once
mm,
you focus on you and where you're going with your day, then you can kind of set the foundation and say, okay, I'm ready. But when you roll out of bed and just dive into work, your brain is not it's not equipped to just go. You've got to say, "Okay, brain, these are the thoughts that you're going to think. These are emotions that I'm going to feed those thoughts and I'm in control, not you." Because
mm.
if not, you're giving control to the world. You're giving control to social media. You're giving control to your emails, your boss, whatever
Yep,
that looks like.
yep.
So you are in control of how your day gets laid out.
I love that. And talking about non-negotiables and not compromising, what is one belief that you will never compromise on?
Being 1% better every day.
Mm,
I take a lot of I take that very seriously, and I'm very hard on myself, and I believe that we should be. If we're interested in getting to another level in life, I think that if we're not self-assessing honestly, really honestly, and saying,
sure.
"Did I empty the tank all the way today?
Mm,
And if I didn't, how am I going to do that tomorrow?" And it's not about being hard on yourself. It's about saying, what am I going to do to make this life better for me and my boys tomorrow? And I just think that's just, if you're not trying to be 1% better the next day and you're not self assessing, then what are we doing? You're just going to stay stagnant.
mm, mm. Stagnant. That's a word that I believe a lot of people. Unfortunately, it resonates with a lot of people, and um, there's a lot of that
Mm,
because we talked about it earlier. You're just kind of sleepwalking through life,
yes.
right? Someone that I would say, if someone feels super overwhelmed,
Mm.
right, and needs a reset, where do they start?
First thing I would do is brain dump. Just brain dump everything. Get a piece of paper, write everything that's stressing you out, everything that you want to change, and where you want to be.
Mm,
Just brain dump it. Pen and paper. The power of pen and paper is profound. This is not like on your notes on your
nope.
phone or anything
Yep.
like that.
Break
Get it
out the
all,
the good old pen and paper.
old fashioned pen and paper. And then what I would say is write down your goals on a piece of paper, write them all down, and then circle the one goal that you say, this will change my life if I can make this happen. Then take that goal, transfer it to a piece of paper, and say, okay, what action are we taking today to get closer to that goal? And it's small, just like you said, it's small steps over time. But if they don't have something tangible to look at and to follow, they're just gonna backpedal and they're gonna stay stuck in that stagnant state and overwhelm. So let's get them something tangible to look at. What's that one goal and what action are you taking today, tomorrow, the next day? And if you have to that out, calendar that out. And that's
Mm,
what I do as a coach also. It's like people come to me completely overwhelmed and I'm out of shape, I'm stressed out, and I'm stressed out, and I'm out of shape because XYZ and X. But it's not. Let's take a deep breath and let's say, what's really going on here?
mm.
And say, where are we? Where do we want to be? And let's take small steps to get there every single day.
Mm.
Now, not tomorrow. Now.
Boom.
Yep.
Boom. That's so profound, and honestly, like that exercise alone
Mm.
can change someone's life
Yes. Yes.
because I've seen it before.
Hmm.
And if they can do that brain dump and then have somebody that can help them take that brain dump and now create actionable items around how to either get out of that situation or put them in a better situation, that is such a game changing. And what would you say it takes on an average? Like, I guess it depends on the person, but how long should it take somebody to make that brain dump and really like get to the core?
I mean, it depends. I mean, I've had clients who said, I stayed up the entire night. I couldn't go to sleep. Once I started, I couldn't stop. And they had 5 pieces of paper.
Wow.
I mean, front and back written. But it depends on the individual. It depends on how focused they are and how honest you are
Mm,
with yourself. So it could take a day and it could take a week. So it all depends on really what's going on with that person. We're all so different. We all have, I think we underestimate how powerful we are. And also, we have to look at others and empathize. Like, what my problems are not somebody else's, and vice versa. And I feel like that's part of like, let's count our blessings.
mm,
Because when you're complaining about having to get up in the morning, some people didn't get that chance to wake up
yeah.
today, you know? And I
Yep.
talk to my kids about this all the time too. And it's like, oh, today's the worst day ever. Is it though?
Yeah.
Come on,
Compared to what?
let's sit down. Let's talk about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's like had to go to track, but you are blessed with 2 legs and you're
Yeah.
able to run.
Mm,
Some little boys and girls don't have that blessing. So to answer your question, I know I got a little sidetracked there, but to answer your question, I think it's all depending on the person and just how badly they want it.
love that. And I think we could go for days on this
Yes.
because there's just so much depth to it.
Mhm.
And I would love to continue to do that. And I think we may need an episode 2 for sure because there's just so many ways we can go and so many people that honestly your words can help
Mm,
and your actions can help and what you've done and what you're doing can help. And I'm so excited to watch you and watch your journey and how many people you're going to be able to impact
thank you.
just with your mindset and what you've been able to do over time, and the trajectory that you're going in is just is truly, it's amazing to watch. So I appreciate you hopping on. Where can people find you, and what is the best way for them to connect with you? Because again, I think you have an amazing gift, and I want to be able to introduce more people to you
I
and to what you
appreciate
do.
that. Thank you. Instagram is the best way.
Okay.
Everything is Instagram now. Rosemary Bonner _ I'm there. You can message me. You can reach out to me, comment, whatever it is, and then we'll definitely connect. I just the goal is honestly to help as many people on this planet as I possibly can till the day I die. And I believe truly, back to the core, that's why we're here. We can make all the money in the world and we can be successful, but unless we're all just humans walking around on this earth, like unless we're helping each other really live fulfilled, happy lives
Mhm.
and enjoy the moments with our friends, family, and loved ones, then what are we here for?
Yeah, love that, and that's why you're going to be able to help so many people is because you're doing it for the right reasons.
Hmm. From your lips to God's ears.
That's right.
That's all we want.
I love that. Thanks for hopping on today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course.